Welcome back, guys, to the channel. Today is a short video. I'm not going to take up too much of your time today. At least I don't plan on it. I hope everyone's having a good Easter/Easter weekend. I don't know if I posted this on Easter or not, but quick little video on the Mark 7 today, and that is because it is time for some more steam. Now, I've been stockpiling some parts for this car over the last couple of months. I've finally got my Rennwagen side splitters in the mail. They got, I don't know if they were lost. I don't know if they were like just delayed horribly somehow in the mail system. Finally have it now, so those will be going on the car next weekend. That's part of the reason why I haven't posted any videos about this car in a while, is because I've been waiting to get some of the stuff done. I'm also hopefully gonna be doing the spoiler in due course as well, but I also want to show off some of the stuff I got. I posted very vaguely and very short on the community tab of the channel a couple weeks ago that I'd bought a couple new parts. One of those is here, one is in production being made, and that is these guys. So these are the 5-bar map sensors, the boost sensor kit from EQT, and I know some people have had issues with these, some people haven't. I'm hoping I don't. I've had a pretty good track record with some of these parts from EQT, but I've also had a back track record, as you've seen with like my 034 half pressure pump, my VLAN headlights that aren't in the car anymore, stuff like that. I've had to take off and replace, and even my OEM diverter valve and the PCV. I've had some bad luck with some parts in this car, and it's not the car's fault, it's the part's fault. Some just really cruddy manufacturers. But anyway, the reason for this is just because I figured with the current economical climate, which I'm not going to go into detail on because politics have no place on YouTube anyway, unless you're a political channel. I figured now was the time before prices increased. I'm sure that these sensors are probably not made in America, and I assume that the incoming tariffs are probably going to drive the prices up on parts like this to a pretty astronomical level. So I figured now is the time to get them while they're still at their normal price before they get possibly more expensive. And so yeah, that's why I did it. Another thing I got, which I'm really excited about, something I've been wanting for this car for a while, is going to be on the interior. Now, disregard if it's dirty, it's been sitting for a while. I got the BFI golf ball shift knob. So I've been really wanting one for a while. I've been really looking forward to getting one for myself for this car, and I finally made it happen. That is currently in production and will be in my possession pretty soon, I hope. I don't know if it'll be here before I leave out of town for a couple weeks here, or not a couple weeks, but for a week here in a few weeks. But I am looking forward to having that on the car. That's probably one of the things I'm looking forward to most right now with this thing, is that shift knob, as well as just finishing up the cosmetics. Like I said, those side splitters are here now. Those are getting installed next weekend, and then I have a carbon spoiler that has been sitting in my floor in my front room of the house for months that I've been really looking forward to installing. So our wasp just like popped up right next to me, scared the crap out of me. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to doing some of this stuff to this car. Another thing I wanted to talk about briefly is I almost sold this car to my dad. And I wanted to point that out specifically because it actually is kind of related to the last video I posted about the Mark 8.5, which is kind of funny. I was gonna, sell this to my dad. It was gonna stay on the channel. It was gonna stay pretty much right here where it is. It was just gonna be joined by another car. And that car would have been a Mark 8 GTI 380 edition. I went and test drove one a couple of days ago. Really liked it, actually. A lot more than I thought I would. I went in there thinking, I'm a bigger guy, I got big thighs. I would have hated it. I actually found myself really enjoying it. It's a really easy car to drive with a manual, and coming from a DSG car, it would have been a change of pace. That would have been kind of nice, but at the end of the day, it just didn't wind up working out. It's just not the right time. It's just not the right time for me to be committing to that big of a payment when I've got so much other stuff going on in life. And I kind of thought about it, talked to my fiance about it. We talked about it, and I thought about it myself pretty deeply. I'm happy with this car. I don't have a reason to get rid of it. I love this car. It hasn't given me any trouble, and I just adore it. I mean, even if it would still be here, and even if it was my dad driving it instead of me, I have no reason for this car to go anywhere. So I've got stuff still on the way for it. I've still got stuff I want to do with it, stuff I want to experience with it. And so there's no reason for me to get rid of this car anyway. And you know, it was a win-win regardless. I either got the Mark 8 and got to try out the Gen 4, or I got to keep this one, and I'm more than happy to keep this one myself. Even if I had sold it to my dad, it would have still been here anyway. But hopefully we can get my dad into one of these pretty soon as well. He has an interest in these cars, so maybe we can get him in there too. But that does mean I've now experienced the Mark 8, and to give you a very brief synopsis of my thoughts for that, since I talked in the last video about, you know, oh, I haven't experienced one before. I actually really like it. I think the hate on the infotainment is a bit overdone. I will say the lack of touch capacitive did bother me in person, mostly related to the climate controls and the sunroof controls, because that car was an SE trim, so it had the sunroof. The sound system, absolutely incredible. It was the Harman Kardon system, and now it makes me want to go throw in a really nice sound system in this car. I don't know if I can do Harman Kardon, obviously, but I can try to do, you know, something on a similar aftermarket level. If you guys know like what the aftermarket equivalent, like Harman Kardon or something like that would be, let me know, because I'm interested in looking at that kind of stuff. I've been wanting to improve the overall driving experience of this car anyway, and to me, music is a big part of that. So if you guys have recommendations for good sound systems, let me know. I definitely want to look into some of that stuff for this car. Because this does have the base system. It doesn't have the fender system that these cars were optioned with. So yeah, I mean, all in all, that was great. The car was surprisingly easy to drive in manual. I'm a greenhorn with manuals. As some of you guys know, I've only recently started driving manual relatively regularly when my friends let me drive their cars, since this is obviously a DSG car. And I've really found that car to probably be the easiest manual I've ever driven, which was Kaysen's Mark 6, if you guys have watched that feature film, or his Del Sol. That Mark 8 was so easy to drive. I literally twitched my foot, and I'm not talking like a little, like I lifted it. I mean, I twitched, I went with my foot, and it just, the clutch grab just started rolling. I didn't even give it any throttle, and I was kind of on a downhill, and it rolled back. I was in reverse. So I was pretty impressed with that. I did stall it, I ain't gonna lie, but it was surprisingly easy to drive. I was very impressed with that, and that was kind of the thing I was curious about, because, you know, if I was going to like the manual, or if I was going to want to keep a DSG, if I did wind up getting a Mark 8 or a Mark 8.5, because that was more of a curiosity thing. I wanted to see what their allocations were on 8.5s, and turns out the dealership I got this car from and would have bought the Mark 8 from aren't getting any at all, so I don't know how that worked out, but yeah. Anyway, that is my little short story, my little update on this car. I want to show you guys at least one of the things I got going on with it. So I'm really excited about that, and hopefully soon we'll be able to install this. I'm waiting on EQT to answer emails. I have been waiting 4 months for a response from them, from their tuning department, for just adding timing from replacing the high pressure pump, getting a good high pressure pump in there. And now I got these, and I can't even install them until that's done. So anyway, thank you all. I'll see you all later. Have a good day.